Okay, so if you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a huge fan of making fires, but also having various different ways to make fire. And this is one of the ones that I really like, and I really like to have as a backup plan, just in case anything else might go wrong. I'm also a very big fan of Condor Tool and Knife Company. I've had a lot of their stuff, and it's performed flawlessly. This is their actual fire bearing block that you use. Is designed by Matt Graham. There's his signature burnt into the side of it. There's the Condor logo, and it's a fire drill to make a bow drill fire, basically. So you can throw a lanyard through here, but it's got metal sunk into it to where you're not going to burn through the actual wood part that you're using to compress down onto the spindle. So basically, a bow drill fire, you have a hearth board, which is a soft wood, like say tulip poplar or something like that. It's got to be very dry. And then you have a spindle that's a little bit harder wood, and then you have a top piece that's a bearing block, is what they call this. And you carve the spindle out to where it comes to a point so it rides in there. What I like to do is take a little fixing wax or a little bit of the Habilis gear wax and throw it in there to lubricate it a little bit, press it down on top, and then you have a bow that you've tied onto with a string with, like, say, number 36 bank line or some good stout paracord. And then you pull it back and forth, and you create friction amongst that wood until you get powder that carbonizes and builds up into a coal, a lit ember that you can actually put into a bird's nest or some dry material and blow it into a fire to affect it that way. So this is nice to have as a backup. I'm using my lighter, my matches, my ferro rod, my flint and steel, my Fresno lens. I'm using all that first before I turn to this. But if none of that works, this is another backup plan. So I like to have this on hand. And it is the bearing block from Condor Tool and Knife. I highly recommend checking out their website. They have a little bit of something for everybody. And I cannot say enough good about their tools, their knives. Everything that I've got from them has been top notch. So highly recommend checking them out. But this is the bearing block from Condor Tool and Knife.